I am finally starting to feel better. I still have a little bit of irritation, so I'm not going to use powders. And if I do, I would use pressed. And the reason why is because pressed doesn't fluff the same. But if I do, I might only use one. I'm going to try not to. And if you're wondering, why aren't you using powder, Rose? I had allergies 2 weeks ago, okay? I don't want to get into detail. It starts dripping down in here. Still, that's kind of gross. But then my lungs got irritated. And I'm feeling 80% myself. But once they got irritated, I just don't want to inhale powders and glitters and no fun stuff for Rose. So I have this idea of monochromatic, and what monochromatic means is everything to be the same or very similar tones. So the bronzer is going to be the tone that I want to be everywhere. I'm very excited. So I already want to add some bronzy goodness to my face. So I think we'll mix up a little bit of a delicious situation, but I have to find where it went. It's over there, hang on. In case you're wondering why I disappeared, I was looking everywhere for this. I can't use powder like I mentioned, but we can set with this. This is from Mally Beauty, and I took one with me last night. I don't know what happened to it. That's where I was looking for it because I set with it yesterday and it was perfect, and I don't know why I didn't think about it, so I had to go get a new one. But look at how cool it looks when it's new. Yes. And I'm going to teach you how to use this because I don't want you to double dip, but we're not there, and I'm sorry I disappeared. I still can't find the other one I had last night. Also, I'm going to put these on. These are my LMS eye patches, not an ad. Ain't nobody hiding nothing over here. We are a family, and we've been doing this too long. But if it was an ad, it would say this isn't, but I do want to show you that these really do work. So I'm just going to put one on under one eye, and then I'll set a timer, and then you'll see, and then I'll do the other one. The face is because I can't see. There we go. Ooh, so we'll just put it under this one. All right, let's get this started. 3 hours later. And listen, since we can't use the powders, we're gonna have to do some mixing. And these are self-setting, so we're gonna try these today as concealer. By the way, the About Face did work. It worked completely, but I need to do a more in-depth tutorial on how to prep the skin for them. It's a little different, but we can learn together. It's gonna kind of be the same with these though. And the reason you're seeing this, I need to add a little bit more red to it. And I was trying to decide if I should do Bloom or if I should do Primary. I'm thinking Bloom. They look so close. This one looks a little bit more orange, so I think I might go with Bloom. Put on your makeup seatbelts. Let's get the eyes going. I want to mix these two. I'm just going to mix them on the back of my hand. Do keep in mind, these set. Self-setting. So that means that we're going to work a little bit quicker with them. Pretty even ratio there. I'm not going to mix it with my finger because that's going to be too messy. We're going to mix it with a spatula that, there it is. Just go ahead and mix that up. And what you're seeing me do is I'm adding red to that bronzer. That shade was a little too orange for me. I'm gonna add a little bit more. I want you to see this in real time. I just need a little bit more of this shade. I should have done half of the red that I did. Adding that same amount. And remember, this is gonna be okay as long as it's pretty thick on the back of my hand. Perfect, there we go. And the reason why is because I'm gonna use most of this. In fact, it's better that it's quite large, and I'm gonna kind of scoop it all together. And the reason I'm doing that, it's gonna have a harder time drying if it's all lumpy. Let's go ahead and just apply that with the spatula. And then I need an E28. And I'm still gonna use the side of it. I'm not gonna buff. Pretty. Just take your time. And then we're going to transition it. Okay, I just took off the eye. Look at the eye patch. I'm too excited. Look at this difference. Look at how hydrated and juicy this under eye looks compared to this one. I know you see that difference. Good Lord, let me put the other one on. Lord have mercy. Don't let nobody see this. So something I discovered since I can't use powder is that this Tom Ford Stick Foundation somehow layers over everything perfectly and doesn't move. I don't know what's in it. It's absolutely magical. I'm using my In a Rush brush. This is the E29, and you are seeing some buffing motions just so I can kind of blend this together. You're still not really seeing swiping. You're seeing circles, very gentle circles, just to kind of clean up and melt a little bit more. There we go. That's what I'm after. See how much more blurred that top part looks than that? Grab a little bit more. But I'm telling y'all, I've been using this with absolutely no issues whatsoever. There we go. That crept up a little bit too much and I wasn't in the mood for it. And then it also brings it a little bit more back to my skin tone towards the brow. If you find yourself in a hurry, this In a Rush brush, the E29, that's the brush for you. I want a wing today. I feel like I've been doing a lot of looks without wings, but I really want a wing, and I want a black wing, and I want to use my Valentino liner. Heh. See that precision? Try to keep it thinner towards the front though. It'll give the eye a more elongated look. More like a cat. All right, this has been on the same amount that one was on. Okay, these are amazing. I knew they were amazing, but it's crazy to see the difference. To see how this one eye look compared, and now this one looks extra juicy and hydrated. And you know that concealer is going to wear so much better. A 10 out of a 10. 10 out of a 10. So I want to be extra bronzy. I want to use this. I love this. I was using this so much. And then, guess what happened? I lost it. So we're using this as primer. I already have all my skin prep on, and you know, I don't want to call it a primer. We can call it a primer, absolutely can, but I'm just gonna call it kind of a pre-bronze. Yeah, let's call it a pre-bronze. That's better. I'm gonna grab a little bit more. I've worn this so many times. It wears beautifully under makeup. And then I actually like to wear it alone. I'll be taking it with me on my trip next week. C42. It'll just, I mean, you see it's not orange. It just looks so natural, but it definitely warms up the face. I'm just trying to get as bronzy as possible. I'm gonna add some shimmer on top of here. I'm gonna try to find one that's not a powder. Try my best. And that just melts in, not orange. Just a beautiful summer warmth. And then I'm just gonna take it down my neck. All right, so I added a little bit of Nude 8 to this just to darken it a little bit more. I wanted it a little bit more depth in there. So that's all I did. I did the tiniest little dot. We're just having fun. We're gonna do some underpainting. Yep, perfect. See, it's still gonna match, but it's just a smidge darker. And I'm gonna get pretty wild. Don't you worry. Oh my goodness, don't you worry. We do need a C40. Okay, we're gonna blend that out. And it's gonna blend beautifully. I mean, you can already see it start to melt. And the reason why is because it has so much skin prep. And because of this, it gives it more blending time. With the right products underneath, it's really not going to change the set because it will eventually dry down, but what it will do, it just makes it easier to blend and to get to where we need to go. And I feel like we forget that we can mix on top. We don't have to mix here, but we can mix these products to get different results, again, I'm going to town, okay? I'm going to absolute feral town because I'm going to do underpainting. Don't even worry about that. I don't want to see any worry. I want you to have fun and just put this on your face. Don't even think about it. Because we kind of need it to be a little feral so we can bring it back with the foundation. And the foundation we're going to use today, I'm so excited to talk about it because it's finally released. And even though they were talking about it, it's hard for me to talk about things that aren't released because y'all will want it. And I don't blame you. Y'all are going to want this. So that's why you didn't see it. Excuse me. And also, one of the reasons we can get wild with the underpainting is because we actually want this warmth to kind of mix with the foundation a little bit. It's going to give it a more natural look. So if you've ever wondered, why don't we get this wild with our other bronzer? Well, I want this to become part of the foundation. Look at these. I know this is a more intense version of this down here, but it's going to look so natural because it's going to mix. So I want a lot of it on the face. I feel like we don't talk about that. There's so much that I see on the internet and then I have no explanation. So we're going to be using the mobbeauty foundation. I've used this. Y'all are going to love it. But what's really cool is that if you're not sure about your shade, you can get your shade, your sample for $1. I wish all brands would do that. That is so thoughtful and it makes things so much easier. Now, when I visited them a couple months ago, this was my perfect shade, but it's been very sunny where I live. But that being said, this underneath here, it's going to help it. So we're going to go around. It's also going to look a lot lighter because of how much bronzer is on my face. Okay, I taught y'all this the other day. Go around. Okay. Get ready. Now let's start to work this in. And the last time I wore this, I was wearing it kind of secretly all the time. But I find that you really don't need to set it. So it's going to be perfect. Especially with what we have underneath it. Remember I taught y'all you got to go around. It's on Reels. That's why I'm saying it. I taught y'all. If you missed it, it is on Reels. But, I mean, I'm teaching you here. Okay, then we can go on top. Ooh, that's pretty. Look how smooth that foundation is. Perfect. Ooh, we gotta go on top of the forehead here. This cuts off. I'll keep showing y'all because of the blending's important. Oh, I forgot to mention the shade I'm using is P30, pink undertones. Now go on top ever so lightly. And if y'all hear a ruckus, Ben is putting on a new deadbolt on our door. It's really ruckusing down there. Ooh, that looks nice. I love watching foundation melt in, especially over the right skin. Ooh, it's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. Now let's watch this side melt in. I've done videos on this too. Underpainting really saves a lot of your foundations that are too light as well. So that's also something to take note here. So pretty. Now, we're gonna do this under our eyes. Remember, I can't use powder and these are self-setting. So let's see what happens. Let's do a little bit more than that. Okay. And the tiniest amount of the pink. I'm talking, hang on. Okay. I'm not doing pink under eye. I'm just making sure that this has a pink undertone. Okay, let's mix this with our spatula. Yep, there we go. Yep, there's our pink that we need. Let's just make sure it's all mixed in. I'm gonna do this here. Oh, that's perfect. So part of the reason that I did those under eye patches is when you're using something that's self-setting, your under eye needs to be so hydrated, but it can't be too wet. It can't be too tacky or it's just gonna break apart. So I think the eye patches are the answer. They're the answer to most things. Most things makeup. I wish they had more answers for things in life. Okay, C31, thin and even. Sound like the ghost of makeup past, present, and future. Oh man, what I'm so excited. Okay, just make sure it's nice and even there. Bob the Builder's down there, ruckusing. Nice. Also, another tip is to kind of wipe off any excess. Swipe it onto my arm, you can wipe it anywhere. And then kind of just lightly tap it and look up as it dries. It'll dry pretty quickly, but it really helps to kind of just keep pressing it. Now, am I saying this is an end all? No, but I will be right back into powder the moment that I can. But these are a really good idea. And it does work. It definitely works. Am I going to switch to this? No, because I have the Milia. I like a very smooth, I'm talking under eye, but does this work? Does it give coverage? Does it crease? It's very minimal creasing and it does work, but I miss my powder. You know where I would recommend this, but then I would still recommend setting it on your nose. If you struggle with keeping foundation on your nose, I would do this self-setting mixture, whether it be the color fixes that I used or the About Face ones. I would do a liquid shadow. You might need to mix to get your perfect shade to match your foundation, but try that instead of any other concealer. Try that, but then I would still set it. I would put a very thin layer of powder on top of it if I could. I would take my puff and just lightly set it. I think we'd be onto something. I'm gonna grab our bronzer shade. I have a little thick area that's still nice and tacky on my hand. I think I might layer a little bit of the darker shade into the socket too. I'm just using my C31 for this. And I'm using, see how it's angled? All of the brushes, they were so thought out. That way if we want to add it, we can, and it's just gonna go right into the socket. Yes, perfect. Just grabbing it more on the tip of the brush, you can see it there. Tilt back and let that angled tip of the brush do the work. This is perfect. I discovered this the other day. Y'all are going to absolutely love these cream blushes. And yes, I'm just gonna use a cream because I'm still gonna set it, but not with powder. We'll get to that. But these are so thin that they don't even feel like you're wearing anything. They're from Yensa. I am gonna post an ad for them. The brand reached out. This is not an ad. The brand reached out and they just wanted a dedicated video because I was talking about them. And I will post that ad. It's still gonna be helpful. You're all gonna love it. But look at how blurring and pretty they are. And that added just the right amount. I'm still in the same monochromatic tones, but there's a little bit more pink, a little bit more red. Oof, I love these. These are going to be my new favorite cream blushes. Y'all are gonna be sick of them. Blendy, 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 blendy. I just wanted some floofers. I know these are extra large, giant Caterpillar good time, but I just wanted to put them on. I woke up and choose floof. Yes. Now we're gonna set These have been around for quite some time. This one's from Beauty. It's wonderful. I've talked about it so much. I would mainly use this for touch-ups, but today I'm going to use it to set my makeup. Again, no powder, but I'm still going to use a puff. Now, what I need you to know is I don't want you to double dip into this. This is a clean puff, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat as much of this as I can, and it's going to pick it up really evenly. Okay, because you just don't want to double dip. You don't want to just go back in. It's not going to be fun. So I'm just coating all of this one side. Get in there, coat it all, because we need as much as we can fit on here. And as much will fit on here, that's going to be perfect. So we're perfect. All right. And I mentioned that these have been around forever, and I'm saying that because it's not a gimmick. It's something that pros have used on set for ever. So just like we do powder, I'm going to take it and I'm just, look at that. It's not going to lift anything. Again, I usually prefer it just to touch up and to go on top of powder, but it should do the job here. This is definitely a summertime staple for touching up, but make sure that you don't dip back in with any kind of dirty brush or dirty puff, because that is going to get in your balm and you don't want that. You want to keep it as clean as possible. Just keep pressing. I went ahead and got you a link. This is the shade Jazzy from Dosa Colors. Look at that. Ah, it's matching. So sparkly. Okay. And then we're going to go in with this lip liner from Beauty Creations. I haven't even looked at the shade. What is this one called? I'll figure it out in a second. But let's go ahead and start grabbing a little bit of that gloss and creating that lip line. And notice that this is very similar to the bronzer shade. That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness, this gloss. Is this our new summery gloss? So I want you to notice I didn't apply the full amount of gloss, so I can still apply some. I just applied enough that way that I could blend the lip liner into it. So now I'm going to finish this coat. This is so pretty. Linking this one more time because I feel like this is about to sell out. It's so comfortable. It does not feel goopy, gloppy. I've worn Dose of Colors glosses before and they wear beautifully. This is staying right here. That was it being right next to me. Okay, that's gonna be it for today. So it looks a little dewy, but it's not sticky. It's absolutely not transferring. It's just a really nice summery glow. I love it. I love the look. Now, listen. Thursdays, we talk about things that we have fallen in love with or maybe things that didn't work out as well. Friday, I don't know what we're doing, but listen. I have some business trips coming up next week, so I might be able to do 1 or 2 tutorials while I'm gone, but I'm also going to take it's still work, but I'm going to take a few days off from here because there's going to be so much going on. So I will keep y'all updated. Just check my story, and I'm going to upload even some more videos to YouTube. That way y'all have stuff to watch. But next week is just going to be a little off. But like I said, y'all have some content to watch on YouTube. I'll still be around, but we just have a lot going on next week. It's going to be really, really busy. And if I'm not doing the tutorials, that's why. But again, I'll be leaving y'all notes. Thank you for understanding. Just gotta take a couple days to make sure things advance. Really, the days off are still technically for y'all. We're doing stuff. Stuff is being done. Fun stuff. All right, I'm gonna go film a couple ideas that I have. I'm gonna film my favorite concealers and my not favorite concealers and why I don't enjoy those concealers and what I look for in a concealer, except for I'm gonna consolidate that and make all of that make sense. I love you all so much. I am feeling so much better, but it's still a little bit of residual. I'm sure if I take a little bit of time next week just to kind of, you know, sit back and relax, I feel like I could just be 100% so much faster, even though I have to travel and do other things. But at least I'll have just a few hours to just decompress. So I love y'all so much, and I will see y'all tomorrow and Friday. We're still here, still trucking. I love you.